Sup guys, Xander977 here today to do One Piece chapter 757 review. No, this chapter of One Piece is straight up insane, right? This is straight up insane. A lot of shit happened this week chapter of One Piece. A lot of stuff went down. Fujitora, Sabo, um, Law, Luffy, they are finally on the fourth level. What else? We see Cavendish display his abilities and we actually get an explanation of what it really is. All of these clashes going on. But first of all, I just want to talk about first I want to talk about the whole sorry, not even Cavendish Bartolomeo situation, right? Now Law and Luffy, they are finally on the third level, but they need to get to the fourth level. And Bartolomeo, there was this attack that Gladius did, and Bartolomeo made this huge encompassing barrier that we actually visibly see, and he shielded the entire attack. And Luffy is saying that also cool, but he warped that barrier shape into this new shape to form a stairs leading straight up to the fourth level. And he tells Luffy to go up there to get on their way so that they can get to the fourth level. Luffy and Law jump up there, and Luffy begins carrying Law to get to the fourth level. Now upon him getting up there, right, Gladius let out this attack again, those ball bombs that he let out. But you know, Luffy and Law, they were preoccupied, they couldn't dodge it. So Bartolomeo said that no problem, he would shield it for them, but instead he took the attack head on, because he basically explained that there's a certain total amount of surface area that he can use for his barrier ability. And apparently, well, it makes perfect sense, because that cliff from the third level to the fourth level seems like a pretty high cliff, a pretty big jump, is a great distance. So when he used his barrier ability to make that long chain of stairs, he actually used up his entire ability, you know, the entire surface area from his barrier ability. So he didn't have any more barrier ability to make a shielding, protective shielding for himself in that attack, so he just had to take it head on. But this also brings up another point about Bartolomeo's barrier abilities, right? I believe that if Bartolomeo was to combine his natural barrier ability or his devil fruit barrier ability with armament haki, right? Imagine how OP this dude would be. Imagine if he just basically coated his barriers with armament haki. It would be completely insane, right? His barrier abilities would be mind blowing in my opinion. I'm not sure if he somehow knows armament haki. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But up until this point, we haven't seen him display any type of haki ability. But if he does know armament haki, right, and if he does know it and he combines it with that barrier ability, this dude would be a straight up tank, right? He would be hard to get by, I'm pretty sure. Bartolomeo, he seems like a pretty strong dude to me, in fact. But so basically, Law and Luffy, they were on their way, and basically Robin begins to come into the fray, saying of how she agrees with Chicken Head Son, right? That's their nickname for him, Chicken Head Son, because Luffy, for all those times in the past, he has always been the winning trump card, as she says, which I do agree with her. You know, reading One Piece from way back in the days, you know, from all the previous arcs that have been coming up until now, Luffy has and always has been the winning trump card for their side. So overall, to me, in this chapter, it seems like overall action has been heating up a lot. The previous chapters of One Piece, the action pretty much died down a bit, and people were kind of upset over it because we have all of these amazing fights going on, but you know, we basically were ignoring that type of action to go into more of story progression. But at this point in time, it's more logical, it makes perfect sense since all of these major fights are being set up to focus on those actions, right? To focus on the sheer deliberate action of these fights and all of that. So it seems that the action overall is stepping up in these upcoming chapters of One Piece, which is a good thing. So she basically explains that, and then all of them begin to face off against Gladius. Now Rebecca, who last week chapter of One Piece we saw at the sunflower fields on the 4th level, where Diamante was there, and he's basically saying off about how she was a gladiator and they were supposed to fight. So he basically slashes her in the back, takes out his gun ready to shoot her and kill her. He basically told her that again, that he was the one who killed her mother, and then she basically cried out of the blue for Soldier San to save her. And then all of a sudden we see Kiros just jump in there and slash, right? He slashed Diamante's arm. Diamante dropped the gun. All of a sudden we see Luffy running up behind them, basically telling her to give them the key, and she gave them the key. All of a sudden we see these big pet looking things, the big monstrous toys that were always giving them problem, who seem indestructible. Law just basically makes short work of them, right? Basically slices them up into pieces, and that's it for them. So Law gets freed from his Kairoseki chains. He is free. Him and Luffy are both on the 4th level, and it seems that they will finally be able to face off against Mingo. But before that, I want to discuss the point, or the fight between Fujitora and Sabo, right? This fight is completely insane. So it's actually revealed that Fujitora has a gravity sword, right? From the translation that I read, his word that he used to describe his sword, graviton, the kanji that was used was a word that meant sword. Part of the word meant sword. So it's basically more like a gravity sword more than a gravity devil fruit ability, which makes perfect sense because all of his gravity abilities seemingly originated from his sword. So this makes perfect sense that he would have a gravity sword in this way. Now his gravity sword, we see him do this unique attack called Fierce Tiger, where he basically makes this horizontal gravity force, and all of a sudden we see all of these buildings just begin to get pushed off, by the side horizontally, and Sabo was taken up into that attack. And and then Sabo saying that, well, it seems like he's going to have a fight all out now. So in that fight, right, they were basically having a discussion, like he's basically saying, why would Sabo try to interfere with the Marines? What's their objective? But it seems that neither one is really willing to let the other know what's their real intention, or what's their real motive. But overall this fight is going on, and that attack by Fujitora is pretty cool. That goes to show you that Fujitora is not playing around. He himself says that he has a position to maintain, so he's not playing around anymore. So finally, since Fujitora is stepping up to the plate in terms of this fight, we will see more of Sabo as well, more of his abilities, and we will probably see his true strength come out in this full fight. So overall, in my opinion, I don't know who will win this fight. It could be anyone's game, but this should be a good fight. So there's the Zoro versus Pika fight, the Sabo versus Fujitora fight. Law and Luffy are free on the 4th level. I'm guessing that Law will be the one to fight Treble, and Luffy will be the one to fight Doflamingo. That's my guess. But overall, I thought that this was an awesome chapter of One Piece. The action is finally stepping up, and that attack from Fujitora is just fierce. Fierce Tiger is insane. But overall, that's it. That's my review. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe. Sayonara.